Uh, Very good evening to everyone. And I would like to say a big hello to everyone, those who have joined this webinar at 4 p.m. I know it's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm sure everyone very comfortably is at their home. So those who have, of course, a leave, but a very, very, very warm welcome to this webinar, and I welcome each one of you who has joined us. So it's a very special webinar that myself, Sukanya from SBI Youth for India Fellowship team, along with two of our very special guests who are our dear alumni who have joined this webinar to interact with you and to tell you more about the SBI Youth for India Fellowship and to also let you know that our applications are live till a very brief period, which is till 17th of September, which is a Tuesday. So you just have, 3 more days. So those and the application is very specifically open to some of our target audience, which is basically our SBI employees, citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI. And so this is basically also one of your eligibility criteria. And another eligibility criteria, I would also, before I start with the entire interaction, also let you all know that anyone who has completed the bachelor's degree before the commencement of the program, that is 7th of October, and also our SBI internal employees, citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI candidates can apply for the fellowship. So you do not have much time, but the deadline is till 17th of September. Please do apply. And to answer your very specific questions, our team has come together and organized this live session for all loved and beloved alumni who have joined this webinar. So before I take on the conversation forward, I would like to talk a little bit more about the SBI Youth for India Fellowship. So it is the fellowship started in 2011, and it is a 13-month long rural development fellowship where we invite candidates applications from diverse education background. So it can be an engineer, someone with an architectural background, or a fashion designer, anyone who has the passion to work alongside our grassroots NGOs to create an impact at the grassroots level. So this fellowship is specifically a rural development fellowship where anyone coming from any diverse education background can come forth and work with our partner NGOs who are very experienced partner NGOs working more than 20 plus years uh, to create an impact at the grassroots level and bring about some very innovative solutions to some of the very targeted problems that our rural areas are facing, along with our community at the grassroots level. So this is in very brief. I have spoken about the SBI Youth for India Fellowship, and we work with 13 partner NGOs who are all across India, and we work very specifically on 12 thematic areas which are very much aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. So this is in gist about the SBI Youth for India Fellowship. And today we have two very special guests who have joined us in this webinar. We have Abhinav and Nupur, and we will be interacting with them. We would be able to understand how their journey was and what was their project, and if they have faced any challenges, so on and so forth. And after which, we would be also taking some questions that I'm sure all of you are wondering and want to ask our speakers for today. So I would not take any more time, and I would go on further to introduce and invite uh, our first guest. And our first guest is Abhinav. Abhinav joined SBI as a probationary officer in 2014 and became an internal fellow for the SBI Youth for India Fellowship in 2017 as part of the October cohort. And During the fellowship, he worked in a village in Bihar on a project focused on engaging rural women with farmer producer organizations while creating livelihood opportunities for them. Abhinav, thank you so much for joining this webinar with us today.
Thank you so much, Suganya. Very good evening to all. And thank you again for letting me be a part of this webinar for the future aspirants and while sharing my experiences with them. And it's for a Saturday evening, it's the perfect day for me to share about my experiences and everything with the future aspirants. So I joined SBI as probationary officer in 2014, and I joined this fellowship in 2017 as being suggested in the profile that I joined in October cohort. So there were 7 other fellows who were internal fellows who were part of this fellowship. Other than this, there were 73 fellows who were from diverse backgrounds, from engineering to medical to designing. So there were those were having different backgrounds, and we were part of that October cohort group in 2017 only. And I started my fellowship journey from that period only.
Right. So, Abhinav, would you like to talk about very briefly about your project and what and which partner NGO you were working with, and also what was your initial motivation for joining the SBI YFI?
So as I said that I joined in 2014, I had an engineering background out there at that time, and after joining banking sector, in 2017 I was like I wanted to explore a bit about my I mean to say like I wanted to explore about the opportunities out there. I wanted to come out of the comfort zone. I wanted to apply the conventional education I had got at the grassroots level to have a better understanding of the problems at the rural livelihood rural level, for the rural grassroots level. So those were the initial motivation for me to join this there.
All
So
right.
Kanya,
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, can you talk about your specific experiences from your fellowship journey? What were some of the challenges that you must have faced, and what are the solutions that you implemented towards that?
So to start with, this fellowship is of 13 months, as being told. And when I joined in October cohort, there were partner NGOs out there. So they are partner NGOs who would help you out there to make you feel comfortable at the project locations out there. And these project locations are at different locations within India only, from northeast to Uttarakhand to south states. So those are different areas. They have different geography. They would have different kinds of problems. So I chose rural livelihood as my thematic area out of the 12 other thematic areas, which could be technology, which could be your social entrepreneurship, rural livelihood, education. So I wish to do something at the grassroots level with the rural livelihood opportunities out there. And I had certain inclination with the agriculture part. I wanted to know about the agriculture aspect, and the Bihar, as having perception about Bihar that it is one of the most fertile area in India. So I chose Bihar as my location, and my partner NGO was Aga Khan Rural Support Program India, which was working in 3 different states at that time: Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Bihar. So I went to a small village known as Bishanpur Bakri, which is near Pusa in Muzaffarpur district of Bihar. So challenges, there are certain challenges. There are I mean, the challenges would be huge, and challenges would be very in terms of the kind of location you would be, in terms of the local dialect you would be using, in terms of the cuisine preferences you would be having. So coming out of a comfort zone area where I had conventional education, a conventional career, and then going to a grassroots at the grassroots level, to come out of that zone, that was the biggest challenge. But that challenge, I think that was the best learning out of that challenge, because I had certain perception, and most of the fellows used to have certain perception about the rural livelihoods, about the rural area of India, about the rural problems out there. But if you would go out there, if you would let go those perception out of your mind, and then if you will try to experience those problems out there, then you will get to know that those challenges would become a journey itself. Those challenges would enrich your experience, enrich your knowledge. So I had certain challenge. I tried to engage with those challenges, and then I felt that those 13 months provided me the opportunities which I could never have got through my education or through any other different career aspect.
Right, right. Thank you. So, I wanted to also understand that how did the fellowship, impacted you professionally and personally? And I'm asking this question also because you were anyways having a conventional job at State Bank of India, and then you must have seen a circular where this fellowship was open, and you wanted to apply for it, and then again you went back to the banking sector. So I wanted to understand that how, as a SBI internal candidate, how did this fellowship really impacted you, and what are some of the learnings from the fellowship that you are still applying today in your personal and professional life?
It's a very good question, Sukanya. I mean, the fellowship you would get to know about the facets of fellowship through the journey itself. But what after that? What after fellowship? Because this is not a job, this is not a career. It is just an exposure to the development sector, which remains aloof to us while completing our education or being in a career. So when I chose this fellowship, I was very open about to experience certain new life, certain new challenges. So those challenges enriched me in both ways, personally as well as professionally. I would start by professionally as such that the kind of problem I was facing in my banking areas, at the rural areas, at the semi-urban areas, those areas, the kind of problems I was facing, I was being exposed to the problems at a macroscopic level, being on the other side. But while being in the fellowship, while being part of the fellowship, I experienced those problems at the grassroots level. So I got that better understanding of those problems by being part of that ecosystem, that village ecosystem. And trust me when I say this, that the problems are there, but being in rural areas, the solutions are also there. The resources we have in our rural areas are very, the resources available in rural areas are that much that every problem can have solution out there. It's just about the different perspective you can apply out there. So I got that professional wisdom, I got that professional enrichment out of that. It helped me in developing a development at personal level also, by being patient, by having a different outlook towards the issues, by being empathetic, being in a customer centric role, being a part of SBI, to understand the problems out there. And after that, I have been branch manager of three different branches, worked in rural areas, semi-urban areas, and it has helped me in understanding and in reaching out to different people out there to know about their issues. So it has helped me professionally as well as personally. But I need to say this one thing, that fellowship journey is personal to everyone. It's related to a personal journey. It won't be a common journey for everyone. It would be very personal, and everyone would have different expectations and would have different outlook to come out of that. Yes, Sugandha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I think the last part was definitely very inspiring when you said that that everyone will have a very specific journey, and
Right.
no two journey will be similar. So, taking this, input further, and I would also like to understand, you went to Bihar. So, what are some of the insights on rural India, and what future fellows can expect out of the fellowship? If you can, talk a little bit more on that.
So I would start with this thing, that if you would go to the fellowship with a simple thing, to unlearn to learn. I mean, we all have perceptions about rural India. We all have perception about even states also, like for Bihar, for Uttar Pradesh, for South state, for North, we all have perceptions. So these perceptions are kind of coming out of some prejudices we have experienced in our life. So when you would be going out in this fellowship journey, so first challenge would be to come out of those perceptions, to let go of this perception, to learn the language out there. In Bihar itself, I learned about the different dialects in Bihar, Mithila, Bhojpuri, and all these kind of dialects, which I never knew about the thing. The greenery I experienced out there by being in village. So in a way, my project was related to agriculture, but I was part of the ecosystem out there. by being in education sector, by giving my inputs in the various facets of life they have been experiencing out there. So it was more like a journey with the village people out there. And I trust me when I say that of all the fellows we have, the more than 500 alumni we have, all would convincingly say one thing, that rural India is very hospitable, in the sense that they know that we are coming there for 13 months, but the kind of hospitality we would be getting, the kind of, you would gel up with the village life easily. That won't be possible in a city life. So the perception would instantly go away by experiencing the village life out there. So fellowship is also about experiencing the village life to understand the problems and then implementing the project.
Right. Thank you so much, Abhinav. So, one last question before I introduce our next speaker. If you can share some words of encouragement for our potential candidates who are applying for the fellowship, especially someone who's coming from SBI internal candidates, citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI.
Yeah, sure. So if you happen to be having that idea of coming out of comfort zone to explore yourself first and then the outside world, then I would definitely say don't miss this opportunity. It's a very prestigious fellowship, but you should join this fellowship once you would be able to let go of your perceptions, let go of your ego, let go of your everything, and to learn a lot. So at the end of the journey, you would be someone who would be gaining the most out of this fellowship than the things you would be giving out to the society out there.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We definitely heard a lot about your journey, and we will again get back to you during the Q&A session. Uh,
Sure.
and I think your journey would inspire a lot of our, specifically the SBI internal candidates, to apply for the fellowship. Please, those who have joined in this live in and who are part of the SBI internal candidates, I'm sure all of you have seen the circular. Please refer to that and apply for the fellowship. The deadline is 17th of September, and also specifically citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI candidates. Now, going ahead with our conversation, I would now like to invite Ms. Chandani. Nupur is an engineer by education, and she has worked at a creative marketing agency before joining SBI as a PO in 2015. And she joined SBI Youth for India Fellowship in the year 2020. And post which, just right after the fellowship, right now, she is working at SBI Foundation as one of the deputy manager. So it's lovely to have Nupur here with us in this webinar. Hi, Nupur.
Hi, Sukanya. Thank you so much for inviting me to this webinar. It's lovely to be here and listening to Abhinav, share his own experiences. Yes, thank you again.
Ab- Absolutely. So, Nupur, again, if briefly, if we can talk about your journey, about your education background, what inspired you again from having a conventional SBI job, come for the fellowship and so on and so forth.
Yeah, right. So I completed my BTech in computer science in the year 2012. And right after that, I joined a creative marketing agency. And in the year 2015, I joined the bank as a probationary officer in Chandigarh Circle. And I worked in various urban and semi-urban centers of the bank in branch operations and credit maintenance. And I joined the fellowship in the year 2020. So I had worked in the bank approximately 5 years before joining the fellowship. And I I was placed on the border of Assam and Meghalaya, and I worked on a social enterprise which basically used to turn areca palm leaves into biodegradable cutlery. And the project was called Gogaro, and it was implemented by Nangrima Self Help Group, which comprised of the women of the community. So the village that I worked in was a Garo tribal hamlet, and the project attempted to basically turn waste. The areca palm leaves are of not used in many in many ways. So it was an attempt to create a resource out of that waste being generated, and simultaneously generate an alternative livelihood for the women of the community. So this was a Garo tribal hamlet where I worked. And if you talk about the, sorry, yeah. So it's called Gogaro. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the name, I guess. And two more fellows before me had also worked on this project in previous batches. It was started by a previous batch fellow. Right. So the motivation for joining the fellowship was that I have had an inclination towards, contributing to the society since childhood, and I joined the bank also with that motive. But I felt that I also wanted to work at the grassroots. I wanted to understand uh, how things are actually working on the ground, how are policies being implemented on the ground, and how are the people, working in tandem with uh, the development sector agencies, and how the change is coming about. Yeah, so that was my intention to join the fellowship. I wanted to understand the grassroots, and I wanted to understand how things are actually implemented on the ground. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Nupur. I think a lot of us who've also joined the development sector had that one, uh, aspect that I really want to change a part of the society. Yes. So going further. So tell us some of the challenges that you must have faced, and what are the kind of solutions also you must have implemented while being in the fellowship journey.
Oh, yeah, a very, very valid question, because sometimes people with work experience, especially people who have had work experience, they feel that we've already learned so much during our job, and this may, not be such a huge challenge when you join the fellowship. But and I also came with an open mind that let's see how what happens there when I am on the field. But to be very, very honest, the first few months were very confusing and very frustrating for me. So that was one challenge, that it was a totally different ball game altogether. I mean, there were so many variables in your daily life when you're working with the community. And uh, we feel sometimes that, we are going to go there and make some huge changes, and bring about huge changes in the lives of the community. But what we do not factor in is that the community already has a life. They already have other things to do, and you have to earn your space between them, you have to earn your place between them, uh, to be one of them. So yeah, that first few months were very difficult, because sometimes, there would not be electricity when you're totally focused on working. You would see that there is no electricity, then you would see that the team may have some other work. The team that you're working with may have other things to do. So team management, people management, and then dealing with, I would say that, these kind of variables, the temperature, the weather, all these things. And because you're totally out of your comfort zone. uh, Earlier we used to know that, okay, for this thing we have to go here, for this resource, this is going to be the resource person, but now you have to figure out everything from scratch. So I think that was a big challenge for me. And slowly, but with time, with when you once you persevere, you understand that, okay, things will fall in place if you give, as Abhinav very rightly said, if you're honest towards the fellowship, if you're working honestly and earnestly, things do tend to fall in place. Yeah.
Right, right, absolutely. Uh, so you were placed in Meghalaya, and I want to also understand, Nupur, that before you went to that place, what are the some of the perceptions that you must have had, or how did you even convince your parents that you want to leave your conventional job and start with this fellowship for 13 months? So I think that is one question that I'm sure a lot of our SBI internal candidates must be having in their minds. So if you can answer that.
Yes, yes. Again, a very valid question, because a lot of we get inputs from family members, friends, there, and very valid concerns from them, that why are you leaving something very stable that you have and venturing into something that may be very, very uncertain. You are not sure uh, whether you're going to like it or not, whether this is the right thing for you also or not. So for me, yes, colleagues did reach out, friends did reach out. Yeah, are you sure about this decision? And I was, so for me, this was a leap of faith. I knew this was very uncertain, but I also realized that this is a very unique opportunity. And I'm still with SBI. Uh, and this is a unique opportunity that the bank has offered me, that while being with the bank, I can also try something very new and something very out of the box. So because I felt that way, I had that conviction that okay, this is something new that I want to try. So I was able to convince my friends, and I mean, I did have some kind of I would say apprehensions in my mind, but ultimately I decided to take this leap of faith. And the team and the alumni network, I mean, also because if we have concerns, if we have difficulties, the Wi-Fi team was there to answer those questions for us. So I think that also made the process a lot smoother.
Right. Uh, Thank you, Nupur. Um, Another question that I really want to understand is that right after the completing your fellowship, you joined SBI Foundation, and then you came in the core development sector. So and you did not go back to working in the banking sector. So again, I think that that is also a huge jump that you've taken, and also I must tell to our audience that Nupur is a core sustainability. She looks into the sustainability aspect, and even the way her lifestyle is also very much like that. So I want to understand, Nupur, that by being an SBI Foundation and right now working in the development sector, how your journey in the fellowship has really made those changes and impacted you in your personal and professional way.
Right, right. So, yeah, as you mentioned earlier, also that what we have felt interacting with co-fellows and through our journeys, also that no two journeys are the same. Every journey, every fellowship journey is very, very unique. However, what I feel is that if you are honest during this journey, this journey imparts a lot of skills, and irrespective of what sector you are planning to join after the fellowship journey gives you such skills uh, that are applicable to every sector, that will help you in any job or any venture that you undertake after the completion of the fellowship. uh, we also call it a mini MB of sorts, because so what I learned during my fellowship, as I was sharing earlier also, that sometimes the team that I was working with, the team of women from the community that I was working with, some may have some other thing to do. We had planned something, but something suddenly, some other emergency or some other engagement would come up. So the first thing that I learned was people management and team management. I learned how to be supportive of the team. I learned how to work with the team and how to work the team in such a way that I'm able to get the most out of the team. So that was one important thing, because you have to interact with multiple stakeholders during the course of your fellowship. So stakeholder management and stakeholder interaction is one very crucial skill that the fellowship imparts. The other thing was time management. Now, because I was working with a social enterprise, we had orders to deliver, and we had to meet deadlines. So that was also time management. I also learned how to be patiently deal with people and understand their point of view, be a patient listener, uh, understand their perspective also before jumping to conclusions. So yeah, that was a very again a very important transformation that the fellowship brought in me. The other few things are conflict resolution, negotiations. You're constantly doing that, you are thinking on your toes. So yeah, so I think those skills are imparted during the fellowship. And when either irrespective of what field I had joined after the fellowship, I think that would have turned me into a much better resource wherever I'm joining or whatever I'm trying to, work on. It also made me a better human being, personal in my personal interactions also. As I said, I've become a patient listener. So I think, yeah, that helped me personally as well as professionally turn into a better person.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nupur. So before we go ahead with the Q&A session, I would also like you to share your words of encouragement for our potential applicants, specifically those who are applying during this entire duration of time, which is our SBI internal candidates, citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Sukanya. So, my 2 cents would be that this is an incredible journey and a very, very unique experience that is, curated by the Wi-Fi team and the other stakeholders and the partner NGOs also. So, Sukanya mentioned the 13 partner NGOs that we have, and it definitely pushes you out of your comfort zone. It tells you how to be more resourceful. It shows you how to be more resourceful. It teaches you that. And unlearning is, again, you lose your perceptions that you had earlier, and you are actually becoming more objective when you're at the field. You're seeing things as they actually are. So I would say that uh, the journey is absolutely worth it. And if you're having confusions in your mind, what will happen, how it will happen, don't worry. The team is also here to support you. The partner NGOs and the alumni network is also here to support you. So if you're having doubts about that, I would say that this is a leap of faith worth taking. And if you have any doubts, please feel free to reach out to people in the network, and they'll guide you on that front. And uh, yeah, I mean, this is worth giving a shot. That is all I have to say to
Right.
the all the aspirants out there. Definitely worth a shot.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Nupur. So now we will absolutely go to our Q&A session, and I would like to have both Nupur and Abhinav joining me for the same. And many we have received a lot of questions, and I would like to throw the questions at both Nupur and Abhinav. So I would like to go with the very first question that how long is the fellowship duration? So Abhinav, if you would like to ask, I mean answer that question.
It's a 13-month fellowship. Right now, the application is open for October cohort batch that would start commence from 7th of October, and the application deadline is 17th. So it's a 13-month fellowship, and the fellowship journey includes your orientation with NGOs, and thereafter your posting at the project location and your culmination of project. So that all things would be within that 13 months duration only.
Right, right. Thank you. So we have a very important question that we've received that what kind of support and mentorship does SBI provide during the fellowship? And of course, we've already answered the question regarding the deadline. So Nupur, if you can answer that question, what kind of support that and mentorship that anyone receives from SBI during the fellowship journey?
Gladly, gladly. So that's a very important question. There are different kinds of support mechanisms that exist during the course of the 13 months of the fellowship. We understand that a lot of you are not from the development sector. You're coming from diverse backgrounds, and then you're going to diverse places that you have not visited before, very new places. So there are if we talk about their financial support as well as non-financial support. So I will be talking about the financial support first. We give a monthly stipend of there's a monthly stipend of rupees 19,000 to the fellows. It consists of a component of 16,000 of monthly stipend, then a local transport allowance of rupees 2,000, and then a project support allowance of 1,000. So total 16 plus 2 plus 1 is 19,000. Then, upon the successful and satisfactory completion of the fellowship, there's a post fellowship transition allowance of rupees 90,000. Um, we also give a language training support of up to rupees 5,000, because the local you fellows are not aware of the local dialects there, and they do not know the language. They have to learn the language. So there is also a support of rupees up to rupees 5,000 for local language training. Then there's reimbursement of pre-approved program travel related expenses, and a funding support of up to rupees 1 lakh to promising fellowship projects. It's called SBI YFI Alumni. There's an application that happens during the course of the fellowship. We also provide group health insurance policy with hospitalization OPD cover. There's mentorship and counseling support throughout the course of the fellowship. So you get mentoring support and counseling support from the alumni, the team, and we have a separate platform for counseling support. And there's a career transition guidance and support for fellows to find out career options after they've completed their fellowship.
Right. Abhinav, would you like to add anything over here? Have Abhinav joining me for the.
Yeah, hello. Sorry,
Yes,
am I audible?
would you like to add? Yes, yes, you are. I'm saying, would you like to add
As,
anything here?
Yeah, Nupur just suggested the perfect thing, that it's the support is financial as well as non-financial. The financial support has very well been explained out there. Non-financial, as being said, there would be partner NGOs out there. There would be more than 500 plus alumni network that would help you in your project areas. That would help you being in comfort out there, even though that would be known comfort zone out there. So there are many aspects of that support system out there. So but it's, again, I would say it's a journey, it's a fellowship journey, it's not a job, it's not having one unidirectional aspect. There are many facets to this journey.
Yeah, right, right. So going on to our third question, that what are the eligibility criteria for SBI employees, and do I need to be in a specific role or position? So I would like to direct this question to Nupur.
Yeah. So there is a circular out there which you can find on State Bank Times also, in case if you want to refer to this, with more details on the eligibility criteria for SBI employees who are eligible to join the fellowship. And but to answer this question, so confirmed officers in scale 1 and 2 who have completed mandatory assignments required for the next promotion can apply for the fellowship, for the 13-month fellowship program, and excluding specialist officers and contract based officers. And there's an age limit also. So you have to be 21 to 32 years old as on the commencement, as on the date of the commencement of the cohort, that is 7th October 2024.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, so are international applicants eligible for virtual interviews? Uh, if Abhinav, would you like to take that question up?
I think the fellowship is open for OCI and candidates from Bhutan and Nepal, and we in the fellowship it's being said that diversity is important to have different views out there. So we encourage people out there from OCI, Nepal and Bhutan candidates out there, and I think there are virtual interviews that would take place for OCI citizens, OCI candidates.
Right, right. So I think this is one of a very important question that we have come across, and that is regarding safety and security in the project location. So Nupur, if you would like to talk about that.
Yes, we as team members also, and we get that question a lot from fellows who are newly aspiring to join the fellowship, and not just from fellows. The question comes from parents also, and families and well-wishers also, and a very valid question again. So we would like to share that the safety and security of the fellows are very important for the team and for the fellowship, and we ensure that um, we take care that the safety and security aspects of the fellows are taken care of. Now when you say that how safe and secure a rural location is, uh, will I be will I be safe there? So I would like to share that uh, our partner, there are local teams from our partner ranges also with the fellows in the communities that they're working with, and these communities, the partner ranges have been working with these communities for a very long time, and they have built that kind of trust with their work, with the impactful work that they've created in the community. They're trusted in those communities, and the partner rangers are very well known in those communities. So it's a kind of a trust, very trust, a relationship, trust based relationship between the community, between the partner NGO and the other stakeholders in the fellowship. And the communities treat the fellows also in the same manner, that they're one of their own. So you are absolutely safe and secure in those communities. And if you talk about, we also say one more thing, that the rural locations are as safe as any other city of the country that you're living in, or as any other part of the world that you're living in, because we have a very close knit network of our communities, of our partner ranges, of our local partner NGO teams there, working there. And if there are any concerns, they're taken immediately. If there are any small or big concerns, they're immediately taken up with the partner NGOs as well as the YFI team. And there is entire channel of communication that the fellows can reach out to in case if they're feeling any kind of concerns.
Right. Thank you. So we have a very important question now, which is regarding, selection of projects. So that is also something a lot of our audience have asked, that can they choose their own preferred project in their preferred location? So Abhinav, would you like to take up that question?
Yes, that's a very good question in the sense that if it starts with if the fellowship is itself about project only, or it's more than that. So the fellowship journey, as being suggested by Nupur and myself and many other fellows, it's a very, I mean, like culmination of so many other factors. So there's a website, SBI Youth for India website. So the aspirants can log into the website, can see the different projects being undertaken at different locations within India. And if they wish to take on those projects and they wish to contribute effectively to those projects, that would be a better way to go ahead. Then they can research about the existing projects out there. Second option would be they can think about the conventional education they have got, like having engineering background, whether be it designing background, and trying to implement it in the specific domain, the thematic areas that could be rural livelihood, alternate energy, technology. So they can start with the new project also, or they can experience the rural life out there. But having said that, the main motive of this fellowship is to have certain impact in the lives of the people out there, in the rural people. So apart from being enriching your experience, the main primary objective should be how would you be able to affect or improve the life of the people out there by using your conventional wisdom. So you can choose project or start new project, or go on there with an open mind and then start something out there.
Right, right.
Yes.
Nupur, would you
To
like to add
yes.
anything over here?
Yes, yes, yes. So, very rightly said, Abhinav, that fellows get to understand. They can also go there and then see what kind of projects they work on, what kind of projects they can work on. So, the thing is that in the beginning also we asked the fellows that you can select. You can give us a preferences of your thematic areas. Now, as Abhinav rightly mentioned, on the website, if you go, you'll see that the fellowship offers 12 thematic areas, and these are they offer a wide range of exposure to the development sector, and they're also aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So now these 12 thematic areas try to cover the length and breadth of the development sector to give that kind of exposure to the fellows through these thematic areas, and uh, the fellows can choose the thematic areas. They provide us the preferences of the thematic areas that they would like to work in. So you can go through the thematic areas. We also provide the list of the projects, kind of projects, the indicative list of projects that are available in those thematic areas to give you an idea of what kind of work can be done in a thematic area. And on the basis of that, you can let us know what kind of what areas do you feel the most passionate about, or what areas do you feel that you would like to really work in. So on the basis of that, the team understands your preferences, understands what kind of NGOs are right for you, which can offer that kind of exposure to you so that you can work in an area of your own choice. Now, as Abhinav mentioned, that these can be related to your conventional background, whatever you have done in the past, but it's also possible that many of you may want to try something that you have not done in the past. So, as he said, that they can also align to what you've done in the past. Let's say, if someone is from an education background, they want to work in education. However, it's also open that someone from let's say an MBBS background, a medicine background, wants to explore traditional crafts, or let's say social enterprise, or water, or technology. So that is also open to them. So you can, and a lot of these thematic areas are also cross sectional. So let's say if you're working on women empowerment, you want to work on a project on women empowerment, that can also be linked with education or health or social entrepreneurship. So yeah, so you can also think of working in a totally different domain that you have not worked in before, a totally different area. That is also possible.
Right. Yes, thank you so much, Nupur. Uh, I would like to, take only two more questions before we wrap up this, our conversation, because this conversation, it's a never-ending conversation. So I would not like to, take more time of our guests. So the first question that I would like to ask is this: what is the financial support which Nupur has already covered? And do I need to arrange my own accommodation, or does SBI Wi-Fi provide housing? So, Nupur, if you can take up that question.
Yes, yes. So, the accommodation, once you go to the project location, the fellows look for accommodation with the help of their partner NGOs. And once they've selected that accommodation, once they've zeroed in on the accommodation, they have to take care of the accommodation. So, Youth for India does not provide a different allowance for your accommodation, and the stipend is basically to take care of all the expenses during the course of your fellowship, including your accommodation. So, to answer that, no, the Youth for India does not provide a separate allowance for accommodation, but it has to be taken care, and including other expenses. There may be, travel related expenses. Then there may be groceries. You may have to buy certain things for your accommodation. So those expenses have to be taken care of through the monthly stipend. We provide the monthly stipend to take care of those expenses of your living expenses during these 13 months.
Right, right. Uh, so, is another question that I would like to ask is that is there any ideal candidate for SBI Youth for India Fellowship? Abhinav, would you like to take up that question?
So I would say that's the beauty of this fellowship. There's no ideal candidate for this fellowship as such, because it encourages diversity. So it starts with the diversity out there. So there should be so many people who would have been having different ideas about life itself, about the profession they are in, about the things they can do with this in this world out there. So it encourages diversity. So there's no ideal candidate, but having said that, being honest, as Nupur said, if you would be honest with the fellowship, honest would be if you would be honest with the with yourself also, then you would be the most ideal candidate for this fellowship. But your journey would make it or would prove it after 13 months.
Right. Thank you so much. And I would like to ask one last question, and that is, are there any post fellowship, internship, or job related, initiative, or what is the way that SBI Youth for India Fellowship support our fellows in that? If Nupur, if you can answer that question.
Right, right, absolutely. So, there are many opportunities available after you complete your fellowship. As we also mentioned, that during the fellowship, when I mentioned the supports, the non-financial supports, there is a career transition support that we also offer during the fellowship to the fellows, so as to understand what kind of opportunities are available once they're completed the fellowship, what, and also to upgrade their skills in some sense. So we do provide the career transition support, and there are many opportunities coming in the development sector, and if there are opportunities in the partner NGO, is if there are opportunities open in the open in SBI Foundation, we also share those with our fellows so that they can apply for that. However, having said that, we wouldn't say that there are particular posts open for SBI Youth for India fellows post their fellowship. We do communicate the kind of opportunities that are coming across. We ensure to share that with the fellows, and there are also alumni. As we said, you get access to a wonderful and very active and diverse alumni network who also keep sharing relevant opportunities uh, with our fellows. So yes, those kind of that kind of networking opportunity and that kind of resource sharing will be available for the fellows during and after the fellowship also. So the career transition support also helps you understand the kind of opportunities available and make sense of the sector, what can be done after you've completed your fellowship. And of course, the network and the resource sharing is going to be available for the fellows.
Right. Thank you so much, Nupur, Abhinav. This was very insightful, and with this, we would also like to end today's webinar. I hope there were too many questions, but I hope together with our team and two of our speakers, we were able to answer some of the most crucial questions that most of you have asked in our chat box in the in the YouTube channel. And with this, I would like to end the webinar. a big warm, I mean, a big thank you to both Abhinav and Nupur. Thank you so much for giving your time and also sharing your insightful story, and to also sum up uh, what some of the key pointers that if I would someone who is applying for the fellowship would take ahead is that how each journey is very unique, and maybe my journey would be as different from any other journey, and those whoever is applying, one should go with a very open mind to explore the grassroots and bring about change that is absolutely needed in partnership with our very respectful partner angels who are working at the project location. And thank you so much, Abhinav and Nupur, once again to share. You were able to share your journey so well with our audience, and again to also let everyone know that the entire application is currently open for those who are working as SBI internal candidates. All of you must have received a circular. Please go read the circular and accordingly apply for that. However, the application is closed for Indian citizens, but it is absolutely open for citizens of Nepal, Bhutan, and OCI candidates, and specifically for, again, SBI internal candidates. So please go ahead and see the circular. And the application is open till 17th of September, which is a Tuesday. So today is 14th, just 3 more days left. So please buckle up. If you are someone who is prepared like how I am right now, so please go ahead and sit in front of your laptop and do the entire application process. And with that, I would also like to end today's webinar. And another point I would also like to also put forward here is that if you have any queries regarding the application process, please write to us at contact us at youthforindia.org. So thank you so much. It was great interacting with both Nupur and Abhinav. With that, I would like to close today's session. Thank you so much and bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Likewise. Thank you
Sudhir.
so much, Sukanya.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Abhinav.